Hello, my name is Josh. I'm just a normal teen living a normal life now here in Toronto. But things weren't like how they are now. The story I'm about to tell you is about the most terrifying thing that has ever happened to me. I still remember it like it happened yesterday, even though it happened 9 years ago. So 9 years back from now, I was just a stubborn little kid. Not to mention I was the only child in my family, so I used to get pampered a lot. It was really long since the last time I saw my grandparents. The summer vacations were about to arrive and I couldn't wait to see them again. My grandparents live in a small village in Mexico, so it is not too far away. I asked my parents if I could visit my grandparents, and straight up my dad yelled at me, "No son, you can't." I was like, "Why, Dad?" "But I'm missing Nana a lot." "Please, I understand, son, but you see, we're busy." After that, I said, "Why can't I go alone, Dad?" After I asked him that question, my dad stood up. It was like as if he was having a minor heart attack. He was sweating all over. "No, son, you can't. After all that happened to me, I would never let my one and only son to what, Dad?" "Nothing. I believe you have homework. Now go and study." After that, I was really disappointed. But being the stubborn kid I was, I convinced my parents to let me visit my grandparents. But with only one condition. Whatever happens, I should not get outside the house. Without any delay, I said okay. So the next day I got prepared and I was sent to my grandparents with my cousin. It was not too long before I reached my grandparents, and they were surprised to see me, as well was I. I ran to my Nana's lap and hugged her tight. We went inside and had a lot of fun time together. Soon, darkness descended, and it was time to go to bed. I was lying between my grandparents and I was thinking about my dad's reaction. Why did he react that way? So I asked my grandpa why I was not allowed to go out after it's dark. My grandpa looked at me with big eyes and jumped out of the bed. So did my grandma. They were looking at each other as if they had seen a ghost. My grandpa said, "Do as I say, don't go out, ever." I had that strange feeling again. "Why, Grandpa? Why can't I?" "I told you that's why." My Nana said, "It's nothing, son. Go to sleep now. Nana's making you a lot of apple pies tomorrow." And we were off to bed again. But that night I could not sleep. One question was running again and again in my mind. Why? Out of curiosity, I decided to go out, and that was the biggest mistake I made in my life. After I went outside, there was nothing special, so I decided to go back in. Just at the moment I was about to go in, somebody called me by my name. "Hey Josh, how are you, my son?" I looked back being surprised. It was my mom, but she seems different. She's way too long, over 8 feet, with slender limbs. Her face was covered by hair. "Come here, son, come to me." "But Mom, I thought you're..." "Come to me." She gave me her long hands. I was a little bit afraid, but still, I went to her. She had a strange smile in her bloody face. Her eyes were all dark, as if she didn't have any whites in her eyes. "Mom, what happened to you?" "Nothing, I'm okay, son. Come with me," I said okay. Then, out of nowhere, my grandpa appeared and said, "No, don't!" I looked back. I saw my grandpa, but when I looked in front of me, she was gone. There was absolutely no one. My grandpa took me inside and he yelled at me. "How many times did I tell you not to go out?" I said, "0, Grandpa." "Shut up, it's no time to joke." And he sat down on the floor with his palm on his forehead. "You've done it." "Done what, Grandpa?" "She won't leave you now till you're hers." "She who?" That lady, she was not your mother. Then who was she, Grandpa? He sighed. That lady is Carla. Who is Carla anyways, Grandpa? She's the soul of a lady who was killed brutally. Her limbs were stretched till she died. And then she was sliced into pieces, then thrown away to the deep forest near our village. Carla had a 9-year-old girl who was taken away by the murderers, and no one knows where she is. She comes back after every 9 years in search of her daughter and takes away children similar to her age. I was terrified. Once she gets hold of somebody, it will take nothing less than a miracle to get her claws off from that individual. My grandpa didn't see me holding her hands, and I was too afraid to tell him that I did what must not be done. Suddenly, lights started to flicker. Everything went abnormal. I was terrified. Somebody was knocking at the door, and a really deep voice could be heard. I want him, I want him, I want him. Eventually, the knocks were getting stronger. My grandpa stood up and he took his shotgun and was ready. My grandma told me to hide inside the closet, and I did as she said. After a while, I could hear the loud bang, like something has been broken. I heard 2 gunshots, and then things took a turn so intense that I couldn't even imagine in my wildest of nightmares. I heard my Nana screaming in agony. My grandpa too. I was shaking seriously and had a blurry sight. The last thing I heard before I fainted out was, "Where is he? Where is he?" The next morning I was woken up by the noise of a police siren. I went outside the closet to discover my Nana and Grandpa brutally murdered. My Nana's eyes were pulled out alongside her nails. My Grandpa's tongue, it was so long as if somebody pulled it out from his body. I was broken down at that scenery. That day my cousin got me prepared and sent me back to Toronto. I could never forget what happened ever in my life.